Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel. These videos are a blessing unto you. I keep you in my prayers also, if you're a subscriber or follower or whoever's watching this. Again, thanks, and it's already a week in 2018 now, and some people are already struggling with their New Year's resolutions. That's why I said in a video I made in December that instead of resolutions, look beyond. That's what I'm repeating now, look beyond. And in that line of look beyond, I want to talk about the following. Are you being paranormally recruited? That's a question, I know. And I'm going to repeat that question. If you have a notebook, you can write it down. You can take notes of this video if you want. Are you being paranormally recruited? We know what a recruitment is. For example, you have a club out there, a football club, and they want new members, so they pay for advertisements on YouTube or in a newspaper to get more members. That's recruiting people. And if you've been recruited, you've just joined a group because their advertisement worked. You have been drawn into a group and now you've become part of the group. That's how cults operate. For example, you have people sharing some flyers out there talking about Jesus, talking about baptism. And let's say you have someone that reads one of those papers, one of those flyers, and thinks, okay, let me check for once what it is. And they arrive and receive a warm welcome. It's so great. And now they're part of that church. They've been recruited. There are people who are quite resistant against being recruited. They have their what they consider private lives with a few people they hang out with and want to keep it that way. They think they are safe by maintaining their life. And they are trapped already with that mindset. But I'm not going to talk about that mindset that much in this video. I want you to consider the question I asked about a minute and a half ago. Are you being paranormally recruited? Okay, I want to give an illustration now. I'm going to use English names, okay, common English names. You have Alexander. Alexander was 22. He suffered from what they called ADHD, or better said, he had some shocks during his youth, and those emotional shocks caused his brain to become hyperactive. And he doesn't know what to do, so here's his prescription drugs in order to calm his mind down. And he behaves properly according to society. But once in a while he's a bit hyper. And now there is this guy, Frank, that can't stand this Alexander. So one day Alexander applies for a job, he gets a job, and Frank, who can't stand Alexander, begins to talk dirty about Alexander behind Alexander's back. Now the people listened to what Frank was saying, and indeed they did notice some of the flaws of Alexander. And the people became upset because of the flaws they saw in Alexander. Now they began to dislike Alexander too, just like Frank. One of those people was Sylvia. Sylvia also didn't like Alexander because she had her reasons. She didn't want to see him. She just kept her distance. After a while, Alexander was feeling quite heavy. And he went to a church. And the local pastor over there began to pray with him. And while they were praying, demons were cast out of Alexander's energy field. Alexander was a believer, but he was not delivered. The demons could not enter into his body, but they could hang in his energy field. So the demons were cast out of his energy field. And slowly but little, the ADHD disappeared also. His brain recovered. But here's what happened with Sylvia. Sylvia suddenly got some health issues. She had to go to the doctor regularly. There was something with her stomach and her with her gut. Something was wrong with it. It didn't function properly. So she kept going to the doctors, but nothing else really went wrong in her daily life until suddenly her boyfriend cheated on her. And she was so upset because of it. And now all those things, dramas going on. Now Sylvia is not a believer. She's a pagan. So she went to a clairvoyant. And I'm telling you, don't go to clairvoyants, okay? But in this parable, this pagan went to a clairvoyant. When she went to the clairvoyant, she didn't say anything. The clairvoyant began to tell her things about her personal life that he couldn't know because it was demons speaking through that man. And then the demon that was speaking through that man told her, Sylvia, there is this guy at your job that you can't stand. He's the reason why your boyfriend cheated on you. And then Sylvia thought, what? Is that Alexander gay? Is my boyfriend gay also? And the demon told her, no, it has nothing to do with that. The demon told plainly on to her, when you decided that you couldn't stand Alexander, you decided to put him in a negative category, you bewitched yourself. You joined a pact with that Frank that couldn't stand him. Because that Frank was jealous that Alexander, despite his ADHD, he had success. He moved on in his life, despite how his own parents were treating him, because Alexander wasn't treated that well by his parents. But despite that, he kept on going. Well, that Frank was so lazy, he didn't do anything. So Frank was jealous and he recruited you into his negativity. And you were so dumb that you joined him. Then Sylvia said, but this Alexander, he has his attitude, blah, blah, blah. And the demon told her, that doesn't matter. You didn't look at the bigger picture. You hear something bad about someone else and you notice indeed something wasn't right. And you agree with it. And you didn't look any further. And you were so proud that you didn't want to evaluate your will. So now you took it out on Alexander. That Alexander, he went seeking for help. And he received help. And because he has now been set free, all that contention that you sent to him together with other people returned onto you. That's why you got all those physical issues with your stomach. And that's why you developed this angry climate around you. And this is what caused your boyfriend to become distant towards you. Because you became to treat him. You began to become mean towards him without being aware of it. And there was this other woman out there who was very kind to him, and he fell for it. And Sylvia was thinking, what? Sylvia was offended, she didn't want to hear it. She was upset. The demon just told her, look, Sylvia, if you want this to end, you need to give up that will you have against that Alexander. Because that negative attitude towards him is your negative attitude, not his. It's your investment. You need to give it up, because if you hold on to it, it will only attract more negativity onto you. And it will be you and the people you are around that will be affected by it, not that Alexander. But Sylvia was a narcissist, so Sylvia didn't want to take any responsibility. She played the victim. She left. The demon already knew that she was not a narcissist. The demon already knew that she wouldn't listen, but the demon nevertheless told her the truth. Well, the demon told her true facts. I'm correcting myself. The demon didn't tell her the truth, because if the demon would have told her the truth, the demon would have told her, you need Christ. The demon didn't say. The demon just pointed out the true facts. Those facts were true. And that's the danger of going to fortune tellers and clairvoyants, because the demons will give you true facts, but will not give you the truth. Okay? Write that down, so you will remember it. So in this case, Sylvia was paranormally recruited, because this is what they didn't see. That Frank had a demon with him, which was a demon of jealousy. So that spirit of jealousy was operating through Frank. towards Alexander. And it's this demon of jealousy, true friend, that recruited other people to join a pact against Alexander. And the demon used their perception of Alexander to trap them. But when it comes down to it, it was the demon recruiting those people to trap them in the negative. And those people, because of their pride, because of their expectations that they don't evaluate, they were lured and trapped. But still, they had their own investment in it also. And that is what I'm warning you about. Beware that you're not paranormally recruited. Some of you have received plagues upon you because of how you relate to someone else. It can be that, it was a teacher at high school. And the teacher obviously was not in his right mind, but that teacher had a parent that was dying of cancer, and that teacher, when he was growing up, he was the target of physical violence often, also by relatives, so that man could not think straight. He never received any help. That doesn't excuse his bad condition, however, he couldn't have done any better, and society itself was not very compassionate towards him to offer him help either. But now, you didn't care about all of that. You just were annoyed. You were just annoyed by that teacher. So you contributed to negative contention against the teacher. What happened? You were paranormally recruited. You are now in agreement against the teacher. You are now in agreement against his well-being. And for a while it worked on your behalf because you could blame someone, but in the long run, you're now bound to the paranormal. Demons now have access to you. That's what I mean. And that's why I often tell you to evaluate your expectations. In the beginning of this video, I've spoken about some people that they're very closed off, introverted, or they have very clear boundaries, that they don't want to hear anything about church or religion. They only have few people to hang out with. They're not very open, and they're quite stern and very clear. And often such people think that because they're honest, clear boundaries, they don't beat around the bush, they're right to the point, they think that they are alright, they're already trapped. Because such people are filled with unexamined expectations that they want to secure. And they don't want to look into those expectations too much. Because if they do, they will figure out that those expectations don't add up. And it's those expectations, it's the defense of those expectations that gives them the validation that they are someone and that people shouldn't mess with them. And it's for this validation that they, from time to time, become violent or stern against people. It's based upon these expectations that they justify how they treated some people. If they have to evaluate those expectations, they'll need to reset everything, and they're not into that. Such people are already trapped, and such people can easily be led into some paranormal, recruitment. You may have never heard a message like this, but I say it through an illustration so you will understand what the phenomenon is. And look at this. I want you to look further. If you are paranormally recruited, often when the negative energy is too heavy, the negativity will get attached to one of the individuals who was in that agreement. In the case of Sylvia, of this parable that I gave in the beginning of this video, there was this negative cloud that was formed against Alexander, and Alexander was delivered, but the negative cloud was still there. So what happens? The demons needed to have someone to land upon. In this case, they landed on Sylvia. The other people were at ease. They were still in the negative, but they were at ease, but Sylvia received the plagues. So that's how it works when you are in how I call it a killing pact. When you're involved in a killing pact, you are in danger. Even if the people or the individual or the thing you are against is indeed evil and wrong, if your attitude is not right, if your attitude is not Christ-centered, then you are in danger. So again, beware that you are not paranormally recruited. It happens often. And paranormal recruitment can also happen in another way. Let's say you and your wife just moved to a new town with your kids. You're starting over, and your wife wants to socialize with the women around to make new friends. And one day they're invited to let me think of something. They're invited to a local church somewhere. It's a small church. People are friendly and kind towards one another. And you and your wife go there and you remain because it's a lovely church, according to you. Then one of the church members one day asks you, the husband, to come to a meeting. It's a meeting of the city council in which they decide what things about the local politics of the town. And you think, great, I'm being invited. So you go. But at the meeting, you see that there are drug dealers over there. You see that there is this guy that was convicted for sex offenses also there. You thought he was in jail, but he's there. So you think, what's going on here? And then you figure out that people have been watching you and your family. You've moved to that town. And they want you to be involved in the politics of the town. And you think, why not? But you don't look any further. That town is run by a mob. And that mob is an agent of an international criminal organization. So without you being aware of it, you have been recruited as an agent of an international criminal organization. And that local church over there is just a cover-up. The people that go to that church, 80% of them don't realize it. But the pastor of that church, he's involved. And it's that pastor and some of those church members that recruited you. So, about paranormal recruitment, you're not immune to it, whether you are a believer or an unbeliever. And if you are a believer and you are following Christ, especially then, unclean spirits will make a lot of effort to recruit you into some bondage. People that are already lost, that don't have Christ, they are trapped already. So from time to time they are shifted into some projects. But if you're free in Christ, a lot of effort is being put to get you back into the negative. So don't think it's strange that you as a believer, you often encounter people that are quite weird towards you, or you are often in circumstances where people kind of pay a lot of attention to you out of the blue, or people just stare at you. It's the unclean spirits seeking for a way to recruit you into the negative. And some people out there, they have controlling spirits behind them that use those people to control others. You will encounter all of those things. Well, that's it for now. The video is almost 20 minutes. I hope this video has enlightened you, has informed you. Subscribe, be at peace, and agree with Christ.